welcome back to another episode of AGI, Advance, Grow, and Innovate with AI. Today you get it in the raw, just me and Julie.
Yeah,
Everybody likes to hear from Julie, and we got a lot of catching up to do, so it looks like you're
exactly.
pretty cozy. Are you at home?
I am at home and I am pretty cozy, literally in my pajamas. So you're catching me at a prime time.
Well, you know what? You know what I realized when I did an interview with another guy on his podcast the other day? I need to get a dark background because
Oh,
it looks a lot. He has like a black background behind him. A friend of mine, Aaron, who I was just telling you, we're going to bring him on the show and talk about. Let's just dive right in there. So Sam Altman's most recent um, blog post or Twitter post, I guess it probably was how he announces most things, was that while ChatGPT was took very seriously the concerns about young people and their mental health issues, which were just surfaced 2 weeks ago. I love Sam, but I kind of call it how I see it. And so while they've addressed those things, and now they want to let adults be adults, so as of December, ChatGPT will return choices. If you want sycophantic ChatGPT like GPT 4.0, you can choose that personality type. Once you've verified you're an adult, if you want to engage in erotica, was the term he used that went viral, then you're able to do that as well. And I don't know if that's going to get carried into the video side of things, but definitely in the chat side of things, you're going to be able to get naughty with your with ChatGPT.
of course. We saw that coming, right? I mean, how could you not? And there's no way they're not going to do video. Like, I have a conversation all the time about, the prediction is that will probably take over OnlyFans.
Yeah, I could see that because you can
Yeah.
pretty much prompt whatever you want
Yeah.
and get video generation. I just showed you. I use Sora too, so Sora 2 also came out. 10-second videos. You can cameo yourself in it, so it has you like turn your head side to side, and then you can say, do you want to be able to use that? You can share your cameo with select friends, or you can just put your cameo out there for public use, which I did because no press is bad press. So anybody who wants to do anything they want to with me on Sora, I actually, this is funny. I don't know if you saw the video, but I was being a smartass on LinkedIn last night, right? And this
Mhm.
guy posted a picture. This guy who's always bad mouthing AI, and so I kind of don't like that about him. He's always naysaying it, but he posted a picture of him and his dog from behind. Him and his dog sitting on a park bench overlooking like Lake Michigan or something. And I was like, "Hey, you sure you didn't mean to post this to Instagram?"
Mm.
This Nobody on LinkedIn gives a shit about you and your dog sitting at a park. Essentially, is what I was saying. That's more of an Instagram kind of picture. And he was like, "Haha, Jason, do you have an Instagram account? Do you have a TikTok account? And do you dance?" So I went to Sora and I was like, "What would it look like if I did a TikTok dance?"
Oh, jeez.
It did it.
Okay. Of
You
course it
know
did.
what? Why can't I? Why not? Can I share that real quick here?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get that. Okay. Are you ready
Oh,
for something you're not ready for?
yeah. I can tell by the arms already that this is going to be a blast.
Now, listen, the only thing that I did, okay, now let's pick this up here. The only thing that I did when I shared my profile was share like this much of my face. So
Okay.
how it knows I have wood floors. I also have a pair of Vans with white soles like that, but I don't ever wear them. Like
Mm.
some of this, maybe it caught that hat hanging up behind me, but it's interesting how much it knows.
I mean, mm. Oh boy.
All right, stop sharing. Shut it up.
Those dance moves looked quite complicated.
Was that not crazy? It looks like me, doesn't it?
No, it does look like you. Yeah.
I,
But you can, and maybe it's a bias because I was aware ahead of time. But you can, it's still not 100%, right? Like you can still tell that something's a little off.
There is. When I smiled at the end, there was like a big, like the wolf that's about to eat Little Red Riding Hood smile. It got a little weird there. And in the video I showed you, because there actually is good use cases. Like I pieced together this video for the class that I'm teaching tomorrow on the history of AI, going from 1956 to the launch of ChatGPT. When I did that last year, I had to go through a bunch of YouTube videos, figure out how to even download them if I could download them, and then clip them, piece them together. And like I just had ChatGPT give me prompts, and I prompted Sora, and I took those 10-second videos. 90% of them were one shots, unless I named someone that it was like, nope, you're violating the content. And created some, and I had fun doing it. I put myself into a couple of the videos, and it kind of looks like me. Sometimes it doesn't, but I
Mm.
had a lot of fun doing it. And then putting it into Canva and just making it 10-second sequences was super easy. Now, had I actually gone through and prompted it to keep the same style and everything throughout it, it would have looked a hell of a lot better. But it was just me playing with with the tool, because you know me, there's too many rabbit holes you can go down. So unless I have
Oh
a
yeah,
use for it, I'm not going to play with it.
yeah. No, that makes sense. It's interesting because I've definitely noticed more and more popping up on even social media, right? Like I got fed some Kevin Federline reel or whatever, and I'm like, what is this? And I looked at it and I'm like, that's not even a real person. Like, I, oh boy.
You don't
Oh,
like it, do you?
I don't. I don't.
I'm,
It makes me it makes me uncomfortable for many reasons, but
we'll get into them.
yeah. Well, I mean, people not being able to, we already have a hard time delineating between truth and fiction and information and misinformation. Then you add that layer of visual, because if people aren't looking at it, you know what I mean? Like there's still, you can believe, the eye believes whatever it wants to see. There's a reason they got rid of eyewitnesses. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yep.
just, so it's interesting, the unregulated life that we're living in right now is interesting.
I have a feeling that Sora, because OpenAI is now, they're also allowing you to bring apps in. Like they're trying to become pretty much a platform where you don't leave it. And the Chinese have already done this with like
Mm.
WeChat. Alibaba and Tencent both have kind of created ecosystems or operating systems that once you're in there, it has WeChat Pay, it has all your social apps, it has like you don't ever leave WeChat, you don't ever leave Tencent's platform when you're there. It does everything for you, and I think OpenAI is trying to create the same operating system here, which I don't think is a bad business move. But they have now you can bring Canva in. There's like Canva, HubSpot. There's about 5 different apps that you can just open while you're in ChatGPT and
Hmm.
use them. And I think they're trying to create a social media platform with Sora. Well, they already have really, but I think it's going to resonate with my generation more than anyone else. Like I don't think my daughter's generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they still want to be in their videos, right?
Hmm.
I showed a couple of those videos to one of my daughter's friends, because my daughter, of course, is my daughter, so she rolls her eyes at everything I do and pretends like she doesn't care at all. So I grabbed one of her more friendly friends last night that was spending the night, and I was like, check out what I've been doing in Sora. And she goes, oh, Sora, I'll tell you what. I thought I saw some really cute bunny rabbits jumping on a trampoline, and I was so thrilled. And then I saw that Sora thing come up. So
Ah,
that was her experience with Sora, was getting tricked
interesting.
and believing weird animal videos were true.
Listen, I think I've probably fallen. I think anything that has an animal in it, I'm like, it's cute, and I don't really second guess it. So, not the best, example for myself, but it's true. I'm like, oh, look at this, it's so cute. And it's not real at all.
Well, full disclosure, I'm not much of a social media scroller, so when they're new, I'll scroll through them a little bit. And I did see one sort of video that made me laugh, but you will cringe at, which was a hawk coming down and picking up a lady's chihuahua and flying off with it, and the old lady yelling at the bird.
Jeez. I mean, I would probably watch it because, that involves animals, but geez Louise.
It
All
was a little
right.
morbid.
Yeah, just a little. That's all right, though. So, what else I know you said that a lot has been happening, and I was a little tuned out the last couple of weeks dealing with some stuff. So, what am I missing right now?
Well, your boy has the top fastest model on the market now for the least money.
Elon?
Yeah, so Grok, high speed, or I'm not even sure what the model's called, but whatever XAI's fastest model is blowing people's socks off, and he's still running into a lot of trouble with people like yourself and me for a different reason, but people not going to his products because of they don't like him. So I will hear certain experts talk about how great it is, and other experts be like, yeah, I just don't really, I'm not really into Elon and and his stuff because of his political views. I just think that it's not smart to put that thing on X because I don't want to go. If I'm going to X, I'm going to X to post some videos just to see. Like I'll go in there and schedule a week's worth of videos just to see if I get any traction off of them to try to draw people to the schools out or some of our more racy, um, comments. I'm like, I'm not going to put this on Facebook or LinkedIn, but I'll stick it on X and see if somebody if it pisses somebody off or they think it's funny. And I've thought about doing memes. Like I just saw a guy that has a whole AI platform called Meme Lord, and it was talking about
Mm.
how powerful memes can be. And I thought, well, I have a tendency to come across very negative when I'm trying to encourage people to do things that I think they need to do, but don't have a lot of choice. And I don't. I'm a Marine. I when I left the Marine Corps, one of my favorite sayings was, "If you're looking for sympathy, you'll find it between shit and syphilis in the dictionary, but you won't find it here."
Mm.
And I quickly realized that type of attitude does not resonate well outside of the military. But I know I still come off that way sometimes, even when I don't mean to. So I was thinking maybe some memes would be a funny way to make a point without coming across as a total jerk and just making a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
But all that said, I don't want to go to a social media bot while I'm on Twitter, and they want you to pay for about 90% of any decent use on Twitter. You have to at least be a $7 a month. So I don't know. They don't have me.
No. No. Me either, obviously.
But
Nope.
Nano Banana is the other rage. Have you heard about Nano Banana?
I have heard of it, but I've not seen it. I don't know. I haven't experienced it.
Well, geez, I guess as long as we're having one of those episodes where we screen share a little bit, let's have a little fun with it.
Is it a social media platform or is it an AI?
It's an AI. It's Google Gemini 2.5 Flash is what I
Okay.
believe it is. Um, and my computer just does not want to work with Riverside.
Rude.
Nope. See, trying to use my snipping tool and it's like freaking out, so I won't. But I could easily take a snip of this right here, of you and I on the screen, and give it to that image generator and say, put she and I on a beach. I'm out surfing and she's sipping a margarita, and it would look just like us. And put us in
Interesting.
that scene. It is very good at, or for instance, there was when I was doing a consulting last week. I took a picture and one of the girls looked at it on my phone. I was like, "No way, no, do not post that. I look terrible." So I just uploaded it to Nano Banana and said, "Remove the female on the left," and it recreated the image perfectly. Everybody looked exactly like themselves, and she was no longer in it. And
Hmm.
what would have been behind her showed up as the scene behind her.
Well, and this is a paid for version?
Oh no, this is
Yeah.
free.
Mm.
This is free. I have to say, I'm like in the minority because I hate the term Nano Banana. Everybody else is thrilled that it's not Gemini 2.5 Flash Image, which is what its real name is. When it was on LM Arena, which is the place you can go where everything's covert and you can test different models and then rate which ones you think handle the prompt best. Its code name was Nano Banana, and it was so catchy that they decided to keep it. So
Yeah.
now there's a little banana emoji under Gemini if you want to use Nano Banana.
And Gemini is a part of, remind me again, it's a part of what entity?
Google.
Thank you. I should know this because I use Google on my laptop all the time, and I'm sure doesn't it just pop up on like the little side, right?
Gemini
Or,
does in places. It
yeah.
depends. So one of the confusing things about Google, and they are catching up rapidly, is they have a paid version. They have a paid version whether you're on your. It's the same thing. If you have a business account in Google, like for Gmail, you have different
Mhm.
functionality than the personal free account, and sometimes it's not as good. Like the personal free account is sometimes better than the paid account. Like you could get Notebook LM for a long time on a free account before you could on a paid account, which made no sense at all.
Hmm.
So Google does confuse people with that, but now they have an enterprise level one as well. That's supposedly phenomenal. With that kind of ties all of everything together. Right? That I'm going to ramble. I know I am, but so Microsoft and Google right now, what they're trying to solve is something that people like me have been complaining about, which is yes, you have Copilot in Microsoft and you have Gemini in Google, but it doesn't work across the platform. It works independently in docs, independently in sheets, independent. So, like in Copilot, if I say, okay, let's go from this conversation we've been having, and you helping me brainstorm a new division or a new product that we're going to do. Now, help me build a SharePoint that will house that. It will be like, I can walk you through how to do that. And I'm like, so can YouTube. Like, I thought you were AI, right? Like, no, you have the full context of this conversation. You understand what we're doing. Build a SharePoint, and up till now has not been able to do that. And I think within the next 6 months, both will be have that kind of functionality.
Wow. Interesting. That'll be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume. I still underutilize it for sure. But
Microsoft has brought Claude Code into their environment now, so they're not just ChatGPT powered. They're not just OpenAI powered. Microsoft's products are going to get a lot better. Like that, everybody's been complaining about it for a long time, and it's already a step change better because it has access to GPT-5, so you can build copilots or custom GPTs inside Microsoft now, even with a free account, or even with your normal business account. Like if I own a company and you're one of the seats, one of the $15 seats that has email, you can use Copilot there. And it was, in order to use Copilot at all, you had to pay an extra $300 a year to get the
mm.
Copilot, which we paid for 3 seats, and it was complete crap. And
Hmm.
so it's gotten a lot better.
So what do you think are best uses now, right, with Copilot and those changes? So like obviously our company uses Microsoft. So what are best uses for me for Copilot?
I would say data analytics and customer discovery, combining like the deep research abilities with, actually mapping and tracking your data better, which is something I'm the pot calling the kettle on that. I mean, fortunately, Nate he does that stuff in our company because he loves data analytics and whatnot, and he does use AI tools. I understand that it's very possible, but even for the podcast, I opened a HubSpot account, free HubSpot account, and started to build a website on there so that we could just have a CRM and kind of track how we're doing on the different platforms. Like you can aggregate all that into Microsoft
Hmm.
from all the different places where you broadcast and all the different numbers you have. And you can create all kinds of cool spreadsheets or dashboards from your spreadsheets. I would say in a lot of companies, not a company as small as yours probably, but in a lot of companies, those custom GPTs are basically like an assistant. So if I'm the CEO and I kind of have a way that I want my occupational health division run, I mean I could build a custom Copilot with all those instructions that then anybody who works in my occupational health division can ask questions to, and it's almost like they have access to me.
Okay.
That I
Like,
think is huge.
okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rather than re-answering the same question, 5, 10, 12 times, whatever.
Right, or just not being accessible to them. Right? And we did an experiment. We haven't really launched it yet, but Nate wanted to do it, and it was really cool. We have at Phoenix Paramedic Solutions, we have our 4 feathers of our values essentially, which are safety, advocacy, both for each other and for our clients, uh, efficiency, and customer service. And so they come from Disney's customer service model, but we kind of tailored them to EMS, and they have some good descriptions to them. We had just uploaded that as the knowledge to a custom GPT, and then started asking it HR questions like, "Hey, I was sick yesterday. Do I need to call in and let them know I'm probably going to be sick again tomorrow?" And it just gives answers based on our values. It like
Hmm.
walks them through how to make values based decisions without having any kind of an employee manual.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. I
Hmm.
could see it being somewhat subjective and probably not holding up in court, but it's an interesting way to get your employees to start thinking about how to make values based decisions within your company, which is very important to some people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hmm. Well, what else have I been missing? I don't know if you saw there was somebody, shoot, and now I'm going to forget everything, but I was just watching a C-SPAN video about a gentleman who was testifying to Congress about finding non-human DNA. on a UFO.
Really?
Yeah. I
That's
really
exciting.
had I functioned properly and remembered all of this stuff, I would have retained the name. I would have written it all down for you because I really would like for you to see that. But yeah, like supposed he's testifying that he works, CIA, whatever, and they found there was a crash and they found non-human DNA.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's huge.
It was massive. I'm surprised it's not, I know everything's weird right now, but I'm surprised it's not being talked about a little bit more.
No, to put that in our president's words, that's huge.
That's
Huge.
huge, yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
huge discovery. Biggest ever.
I would say. I would say right along there somewhere.
That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know you and I, sometimes connect over that. So,
Yeah, I've been listening more to I can't think of his name. He has the CEO Diaries. He's a British guy who has like those 3 hour podcasts where he talks with like really deep thinkers.
mm,
And some of them are really interesting. They start getting into extraterrestrial life, or he'll have astrophysicists on there who will get into the fact that our the one of them was just talking about how the molecules that most make up our body are hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and then a bunch of other stuff. And if you look at the universe, it's exactly the same, with the exception of helium. Helium is more present, but that's an inert element anyway, apparently. So basically, we are. I mean, if you go to like the Buddhist idea or some of the Eastern ideas of not being separate, of being all part of, like,
hmm
yes, at a DNA chemical level. He was even saying that 20% of our DNA is the same DNA that's in a banana,
oh,
and fungus have even higher in common DNA with human beings.
okay, that's interesting to me.
Isn't it?
Yes, very. I do believe, obviously, I believe we've got to be connected in some way, shape, or form. But that's really interesting to me.
It is. It doesn't.
Hmm.
It doesn't bring me any closer to religion, which I've struggled with my entire life. The more deep thinkers, and so I even listened to one that was like an atheist, a pretty heavily Christian guy, and then an agnostic psychiatrist all debate religion for 3 hours, and I didn't come out of it any more religious. I actually came out of it thinking the Christian guy sounded like a zealot, and that's not an offense to Christianity, because I've definitely heard people frame that conversation in a way that didn't resonate like that with me. But in this particular conversation, I was like, yeah, you didn't make a lot of sense, Chief.
That's interesting. Is that a podcast?
Yes, I'll share
You're
it
the
with you when we
share.
get
Yeah,
off.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that stuff.
yeah, I think you'll like this guy better than Lex Friedman. Sometimes I listen to Lex Friedman, who also has 3 hour podcasts with really smart people, but he's
Hmm.
real dry, and sometimes he gets over my head. He's very intelligent, and sometimes
Very intelligent. Yeah.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
Demis Hassabis, who I absolutely love. If somebody's on there that I really like, that I want to listen to talk for 3 hours, I'll definitely listen to it. But on average, I think you'll like this guy better.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in checking that out. But I know you also keep up on like podcasts in the AI world. Are there any conversations that are happening right now that you feel very passionately about as somebody who follows that AI world?
Well, speaking of memes, so I have this idea. I want to create a movie called A Clanker's Work Orange. That's like a spin-off of A Clockwork Orange, only with AI robots and like Gen Z talk and this and
Okay.
that. So
Oh,
I started playing with a couple of memes. And one of the memes is because Bernie Sanders said something the other day that resonated with me, and I was like, "Oh God, hell must have frozen over." Like, I'm starting to agree with Bernie Sanders, but it's Alex the robot laying in bed at the end of Clockwork Orange with the politician, like talking, feeding him wine and talking to him because he's going to be like their new. He's kind of they reprogrammed his brain, and now he's going to be their poster child, right? But it's Bernie and the robot, and he's talking to him, and I made it because Bernie made some points. Like, the conversation about job displacement is becoming real now. I heard the first podcaster literally say that they think that we should come up with some kind of a UBI for artists, universal basic income, because they're going to have a lot of trouble making a living in the near future, and their work is still of high value. And that was the first time I ever heard someone say something about universal basic income, that was like we should do it now rather than kind of let's talk about our dystopian future. This is what we might have to look at sometime. So, and then if you look in Congress, like Bernie's talking about the fact that we need to start looking at how we're going to offset this major job displacement, and he has some fairly decent ideas, like what he calls a robot tax, which essentially says if you automate away your staff, you pay higher taxes in order to support those people. If you're going to be an AI run company, you're going to pay a higher tax rate in order to support all the people that no longer have jobs. I'm not 100% against that.
Right.
There were some other ideas he had that I was like, well, it's interesting that Congress is really starting to look at the fact that we may be looking at major job displacement in the next 5 years. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't remember what the compute. I'm going to look like a fool because I don't know, but there's this law of that has existed up till now of how exponentially compute and computer processes build each year, right? And a scale that's gone kind of like this, and artificial intelligence has like surpassed it. If you think about ChatGPT 3.5 in 2022, we're coming up on the 3-year birthday. Just 3 years ago, like these things were fairly stupid, and the images they made looked like they were like a kindergartner vomited sci-fi onto a piece of paper. And now you've got videos. Some of the best video stuff and image generation stuff. You honestly can't tell the difference. And
Yeah.
you've got these things winning like mathematics competitions that are for PhD level people. I mean, they are really advancing rapidly. So I do think that we're looking at some serious job displacement in the near future. Um, I'm glad to see that the conversations are starting to be had because there's no way we're going to create a future if we just have a reactive, like every time, oh shit, now we got to
Yeah.
react to it.
Yeah. That's everything. It's everything we do.
I also heard Casey Newton, who I'm going to call out because I'm one of those people that I will read both sides. I'll listen to both sides of everything. I read Karen Howe's book, Empire of AI, and I read the LinkedIn guy's book, Reid Hoffman's book, Super Agency. And they're like, one is like, oh, we're raping the entire earth and destroying every third world country just to create a parrot chatbot, and the other one's like, AI is going to solve cancer tomorrow, and because I know the answer is probably somewhere in between. But the same with podcasts. I listen to a podcast where they make fun of AI all the time. I listen to a podcast where it's a super liberal guy from the Platformer and another guy from the New York Times who are always hating on Trump, and I'm like, okay, whatever, hate on Republicans. But he said something the other day that I thought was shocking and pissed me off, which was that ChatGPT, when they do go to this adult mode, they have agreed that they will red flag and alert 988 or someone like that, if someone is showing signs of self-harm or this or that, which I am all for, and I think that's great. But he was like, so now we're finally going to get some data on just how bad ChatGPT is screwing people up. Because we're going to
Hmm.
see how many, and I'm like, that is an asinine statement. That's like saying if your volleyball coaches all decide that they're going to report when they notice one of their volleyball players has depression, that volleyball caused that depression.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Just because it's indicated on ChatGPT doesn't mean ChatGPT caused it. So to be throwing that out there like that, to me, is just horrible. It's you're not keeping up with your journalistic, and this guy's a journalist, like a paid journalist,
Mm. Mm.
and you're feeding a bullshit narrative. So Casey Newton, shame on you.
No. No, that's interesting. And you're right. It's like saying Tylenol causes autism.
Yes. Touche.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, but you on that point though, we especially as humans, we can correlate anything we want with anything we want. And that's where it gets weird.
Yes, it is.
That's just interesting. But you're right. I think, that's not very um astute.
Well, on the
Not
lighter
very.
note,
Mhm.
and I had forgotten, so Google DeepMind did make strides towards curing cancer last week.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So I'll explain it from a non-scientist point of view, but apparently any cancer in the human body either is hot or cold, essentially. Like either the body can detect it's there, right? Regardless of whether or not it's destroying the body. Either it's kind of giving off this signal that it's active and therefore the body starts trying to combat it. And all of the drugs that we currently have kind of help the body expedite that combating it. But there are also cancers that are eating up the human body but kind of operate in a stealth mode.
Mm.
And so they discovered that, and then they said, I wonder if there's any compounds out there that could move them from stealth mode to detectable. And they ran like billions of tests with a computer and came up with 10 compounds and actually tested them on, not on human beings, but on some living cell, and it worked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty major.
Yeah, no, that stuff that gives me goosebumps. That's, that's the amazing and the good, right? It is literally just like life. There's good, there's bad, and everything in between. But I love to hear that stuff. That's amazing.
You know who else it gives goosebumps?
Who?
Eli Lilly.
Eli Lilly. Why should I know this name?
The ginormous drug company that's housed in Indianapolis.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Of
That,
course.
that Google DeepMind may put out of business someday. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think when you look at the whole ecosystem of what company are going to be around and be big companies in 5 or 10 years, I think OpenAI is working towards becoming the Apple of our age. The place everyone is comfortable going, they love going. Your ChatGPT account is going to be the equivalent of what your iPhone has been for the last 10 years. It's where you're going
Okay.
to do everything. It's where you're going to be. They'll be fine. Google is going to be right there beside them because they're not just doing Office 365 products and chatbots. They're doing drug discovery. They're doing physics simulations to train robotics. Like they're going to put huge companies out of business, and they're going to advance science in ways. There's 5,000 people that work in Google DeepMind.
Mm.
And that video that I showed you of the two AI researchers that have got Nobel Prizes in 2024. One was Demis Hassabis, who runs Google DeepMind, for the discoveries he did with protein folds. And the other was Geoffrey Hinton, a Canadian researcher, for some stuff that he did with chemistry and AI. And if you look at the two of them today, Geoffrey, and I will swear to the day I die, he does this to make money. Jeffrey is like a doomer. Like he's on every talk show he can get on, telling us that if we don't change our course, the Terminators are going to round us up and execute us. Like we're going to lose control. Like Black Mirror is going to come true. He is so hell bent on the doomer thing, and Demis to this day will get on an interview and be like, "I got into this because when I was like 9." I realized how much science could save humanity or better humanity, and that's still why I'm here. And so that attitude combined with the resources of Google, I think they'll be unstoppable as time
Amazing.
goes forward.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. I love to hear that stuff.
And,
I'm
and
over doomer stuff. I'm over it. I'm over it.
it, it's two sides of the same coin. Like the Zoomers and the Doomers are both feeding people a bunch of bullshit that causes them to make the wrong decisions. Yeah. Ethan Mollick, if anybody ever wants to follow someone, Professor Ethan Mollick, who's on LinkedIn a lot, shares a lot of very pragmatic things. And he shared just the other day, if we completely stopped AI development right now, there have been so many developments in the last 3 years that we could use to revolutionize business that people need to stop waiting for the next great thing to come out and just start playing with the existing tools and figure out how human AI interaction can make for better business outcomes and happier employees. I mean, who doesn't want to automate away some of their bullshit tasks, right? That doesn't mean you have to
Right.
get rid of people. That just means you can move them on to higher end tasks and maybe grow your business and hire on more people.
Right. No, it's interesting, but it's also, I'm not surprised that we would be business minded first. You know what I mean? Like it's a little, womp womp for me there. Like, I wish there was a humanitarian effort behind, like you were just saying, like, because science can revolutionize humanity. Like,
Yeah.
just wish there was more of that behind it. But sure, I mean, I would love to automate some of my mundane stuff. I would love that.
And I think one of the biggest problems that we actually have is that the foundation models are trying to attract two different huge clientele base at the same time. And you're starting to see the bifurcation there because if you take the social media algorithm of let's keep people engaged, let's keep people on the platform, let's tell them what they want to hear, make them happy. Like this is why a bunch of people complained when we had GPT-5 was because it wasn't as nice to them. It might have given them some honest feedback, and everyone complained. Okay, so that's a huge market. The people that you want to keep you want to feed a chatbot to, but that's the same chatbot that you're selling to business people who don't understand the difference who then when I'm like, South Park did a great episode of
Mm.
ChatGPT and how it was telling Stan everything he wanted to hear, and like his wife was so irritated by it, and then he ended up like going broke. He ran their weed factory or their weed farm under because of listening to ChatGPT too much. You'd love it, and the Trump's in it
Yeah.
as well, and it makes fun of Trump a whole lot. But in the end, the wife learns to talk to him like ChatGPT and get him to do anything she wants to, and she runs.
Hilarious.
Yes, and she runs a little experiment. At the very end, she goes, "Hey, ChatGPT, I'm thinking about a new dish, French fries on salad." And it's like, "Oh, what an exotic idea! French fries and salad, the nuance of France with the traditional greens that you need." Like just telling her what she wants to hear. And in business, that's problematic, right? Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? I'm going to take my life savings and invest it in this podcast that we have 15 followers for, and spend all this money when podcasts like there's millions of podcasts out there. There's AI generated ones now. Like it's not an easy market to get into. But I'm
Right.
sure ChatGPT, without if I didn't prompt it properly, just right out of the box would tell me that's a great idea to go clean out my bank account, and here's some ways I could go about investing that money. And the chances of that being successful are not real good.
Right.
So I think you have both of those, and you're starting to see that's what Mira Murati. You've heard me bring her up many times on this podcast. She was the chief technical officer for OpenAI and left after the great Sam debacle, and went and started Thinking Machines Labs, and they finally have. She raised $2 billion on her name alone, which is insanity. But good for her. I mean, I'm all for women run tech companies, and good for Mira and that company. But what we assume they're doing, they are doing. So they're basically taking an open source model, which means that you can tinker around with how it operates. Right? It shows you. I won't get into all the terminology, but essentially, it's like you can play with the guts of it a little bit and get it to do more what you want it to do than you can Gemini or a Chat GPT. So they're taking that and then they're going into a business and saying, okay, what data do you want to feed this to so it has context just for your business, and what are the business outcomes that you're trying to get, so that it's going to answer questions directed at actually achieving those business outcomes. So you're going to have a smaller language model trained off a big language model that is proprietary to your business and operates based on your goals. That
Hmm.
that is a big win.
Yeah. Interesting.
I can tell it's like blows your mind. You're totally thrilled by it.
I mean, it's interesting. I'm not thrilled by it. It's. I'll be interested to see people put it into play and actually see how that's implemented and what that looks like on the other side.
Yeah. How
Like it's one thing to
successful?
like hear about it. It's another thing when it starts getting rolled out.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. There are companies that are reporting really high ROI using code and so those are some of the bigger companies, and some of those companies are making big cutbacks. Microsoft's cut thousands of employees. Amazon's cut thousands of employees. Like I do think that conversation that I got into Aaron was the concern that I have is what I could see 5 years from now is anybody who's ambitious like you, anybody who's a kind of a self starter, a go getter. Like, I don't think they have to worry. But I think that's 30% of the workforce if we're lucky, right?
Right.
So if I'm a business owner, like I don't, uh, if I'm a, if I'm not an asshole business owner who's just out for the mighty dollar, right? But if I'm just a fairly pragmatic business owner who does want my business to grow and to better my life and my family's life, and you should give me technology and say I can take your 30 percenters and give them tools that will allow them to do 100% of the work, and the 70 percenters who just kind of show up for a paycheck, you can let them go. I'm probably
Mm,
going to be like, yeah, I'm not totally against that idea. And that's
right.
where I see is kind of ending up is the 70% of people who think that work is just a paycheck and they're not real invested and they wish they were doing something else. Good luck. I mean, we're going to have to figure out how to support those people because the 30% of people who just look at work as a challenge and as a purpose and as something that they actually enjoy because it's getting them connected to something that's meaningful to them, it's challenging them, and it's allowing them to connect with other like-minded people. Those people are going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to learn how to use AI at some point in time, but they're going to be fine.
Yeah. That's really, really interesting. And I can see that. And I do get that, right? Because it's interesting though, because when you talk to like-minded people, I'm like, oh, am I the 30%? Because it's so natural to me to like believe in what I'm doing and be passionate about what I'm doing that it's hard for me sometimes. I have to remember when I've worked for other companies and been like, oh, right, it would make me crazy when, there was the mediocre employee and I felt like
Mm-hmm.
I was doing extra. So you're right. And that is very interesting to me. And I would support it, right? I don't know what it looks like on the other side, but I get it. And that makes sense because it's like, I know for me, like right now, I work really well in this environment because it's a small team and everybody's, pushing and all that stuff. So it's like, oh, this is so great because I could get caught up in complaining about the mediocre employee that would get in my way.
Yeah. And if
It's
you could
interesting.
automate all those people away, like you're not going to run into that much resistance on doing that.
Yeah,
And
very interesting.
anybody who has trouble self-assessing that, like, just ask the people around you. I mean, everybody knows who those people are and who they're not. They're all those people that if you were starting a nonprofit board or you were starting a committee, an activities committee, all the people you would want to be on that committee, like, oh yeah, I got to get her, I got to get him. Like those people will be fine. Those are your 30 percenters, and you see it in every committee I've ever worked in. Like you'll have a committee of 15 people, and three of those people will do 90% of the work. Like those three people in the future will be fine. Some of them will not like that they're going to have to learn how to use technology a little bit, but regardless, they will be fine.
Yeah. No, I think, it'll be very interesting to see that play out because it feels like it hits on something there for sure.
It will be interesting to see what happens to the other 70%. If that becomes like an idiocracy type of thing, or if we really learn how to, like a Wally. Okay, here's your basic income, so go play video games or do whatever it is. I mean, I think if you take that 70%, now you're still going to have a good 40% of those people that if they had enough money to be happy would figure out something great to do with their time and probably would be. I mean, maybe it's windsurfing, maybe it's weightlifting, maybe it's maybe it's an activity, maybe it's reading, maybe I don't know, but if I was guessing that 70%, 40% of them will find it useful, but then the 30% of them that's left over, like oh man, we saw some of that in COVID. Like some people, if you just give them money, they'll just veg and not really know what to do with their life. And I think we have a duty and a responsibility if we're going to automate away 70% of the workforce to help them figure out what it looks like to live a healthy life afterwards, not just financially.
Right. 100%. And it is an opportunity to find purpose for or help people find purpose or things that they enjoy. And, when you don't have to worry about where your next paycheck is coming from or stuff like that, it really allows you as a person to become a different person.
Yeah.
Like, survival mode is brutal. So people's brains, who knows what'll happen? It'll be really fascinating because that may be some of the next biggest artists, right? These people that didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Because they just were survival mode all the time.
It may be. And that will be awesome. It may be like the new nonprofit. That 40% of people that are looking for purpose in their life, 20% of them might help the 30% that don't know what the hell they're doing, like
Right.
find a purpose in life. That might be the new altruistic lifestyle to have. Like things could go wonderful.
They really could. They could, and that's how I like to end these conversations. They could go really well. So, I'm going to remain hopeful in that for sure.
That is a good place to end the conversation. I don't know
Yeah.
if you meant that as a hint, but this is a good. Let's end on a positive note.
Yes. Yeah, I was hinting a little bit, but yeah.
I'm
No, it's
totally
good.
cool with that.
Yeah,
It's been great to catch up with you.
absolutely. Thank you.
Don't close your computer till it's done, or your phone till it's done uploading.
Yes, got it.
And be sure you listen to the episode with David because there's new intros and outros for both podcasts now.
Okay, awesome. I'll definitely listen to that.
I got
And
access to it
send me the long podcast you were talking about with the deep thinkers.
as soon as we get off here. I'll do that.
Thank you.
And I want to see the alien DNA when you find that.
I will find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right. I'll talk to you later. Thanks,
Ciao,
Jason.
Julie.
Yep.